the journey from 0 to 100 crores, and then from 100 to your 3000 crore top line, uh, how is that different, or is it more of the same?
There's plenty of differences, sir. 0 to 100 was survival. You want money for your salary, you want money to buy your food, get your clothes, get your things going, and that's how the mindset works, right? When it was 0 to 100, survival is a major key. Personally, company-wise, the pressures of survival come to that. The 100 to the 500 or 800 is more or less a little more on the similar lines, right? Till you get that surplus of money, it's one journey of survival. But once you start seeing a little bit of surplus of money, then the journey becomes more of the next stage would be, let's say, growth, and that takes care of your external materialistic requirements. The way I put it is if I was managing to drive in a small car, and if I make my first 0 to 100 is that small car, everything fine, I have a car, is great, there's fuel in the car. 100 to the 500, 700 is okay, now I can afford to buy a little bigger car, now my other basic needs can get satiated, right? But from there, not to go down the path of more and more of the personal and materialistic needs, because that has no end. You can drain a 500 crore company with your materialistic requirement and not let it grow. But to be cautious enough of being to let it grow too is where the challenge comes. And I will take it there as preempting something like by having a venture capitalist in me as early as 98 when I started the operation helped. Because like those days, the guys would be putting up a line. And also Motilal Oswal at one point of time, they had come, they were talking about private equity in those days of 98, 2000. When people are able to come and draw a line and saying, I was not selling. So somebody asks you a pertinent question of why not? Then you start thinking of 5, 10 years down the future, right? Then you start drawing and saying, okay, if my company does well, this is what I can do, this is what I can be worth at. And then somebody came and said, if somebody is going to give you that money, which is 10 years down the line upfront, why aren't you taking it? And then
Yes.
you start thinking more and more, right? So I think having the right people was one, and starting the journey with good for a financial kind of a venture capitalist of good nature, not the guy who's just trying to be harsh and trying to run roughshod, but being able to explain to me this is what the world is. Why are you doing this business? It is not just because I run a business, I own a business, right? You're creating value, and
Right.
that's where the 500 crore story starts. 100 survival, at 500 everything taken care of. 500 onwards, the value comes into play. And then you get onto the bandwagon of value creation. And then once you come to where I am today, that value creation, you seem to be so insignificant because now when you see people around you who have created so much more value, then you look at the next level of value creation where you will start looking at it by not thinking of yourself, but the entity as such.